Hey guys, this is David with Worship Leader Hangout, and it is Sunday afternoon, probably a little after 4. I'm extremely exhausted from services and rehearsals today. However, there was something I really wanted to share with you. Yesterday, I was going through the comments for one of the recent videos we released, and I noticed that one of the comments was by a person named Aaron Neely. Now, I doubt many of you may know who he is, but I do. Mr. Neely was one of the most influential people when it comes to music in my life. He was my high school band director. And actually, he is a phenomenal pianist, but he taught high school band. And Mr. Neely would take his lunches and his breaks, and he would take that time. And whenever I walked in, he was always willing to show me different things on the piano. He taught me a lot of theory. And quite frankly, all that I learned, at least a good 85% of it, came from Mr. Neely over the course of the 3 years I was in high school. And, I realized that Chad and we've been blessed to share this information with many of you, but we don't. I wish I could take the credit for myself and say I just sat down and I read books and I learned this information on my own. But really, we stand on the shoulders of those who have influenced us. When you hear me teach, really it's Mr. Neely teaching you. And I'm sure he would say the same for those who have influenced him. And sometimes we want to get to the end of our life and we want to ask ourselves, did I do something that mattered, right? And I think the only way to accomplish that is by giving yourself away. Mr. Neely gave his own time that was his to me, and I can't ever forget it, for 3 years. And he taught me many things on the piano, and he taught me theory, and that really is how I was able to financially support myself from the moment I left high school. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to teach you guys. And Mr. Neely gave himself away, and I hope he knows that he did something that mattered. And I believe that we learn that we've done something that matters when we give ourselves away. I think about a young guy. He's in his early 20s now, and when I met him, he was about 13 years old, and he wanted to play drums. And he was very rudimentary on the drums, and we spent a lot of time together working on the drums and, just working on different licks and how to listen to music. And we spent time together. These weren't lessons. These were more like I was mentoring him along with lessons. And this guy now in his 20s, he calls me and he says, thank you. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you. I'm living out my dreams. This guy, he plays in a band now. His band has booked gigs. They have people paying for tickets to come and see their shows. And he called me to thank me. And I was blessed to know that I was able to influence somebody in that way. And then they were able to influence and be a blessing to other people. And I think we learn this story we learn about being an influencer when we read the story of Christ. Christ comes to earth and he pours himself into 12 guys, and 11 of them go on to change the world, literally. And so I want to encourage you that, you may be working with young people, spending your time with people, and you don't know if it's going to amount to anything. Let me tell you something. You're doing something that matters, and they won't forget it. They will remember it, and you have no idea who those people are going to go and influence. So keep doing what you're doing as worship leaders. Keep pouring yourselves into your team. Pour all of yourselves out fully, right? What does Christ tell us? Christ tells us in order to gain our life, we have to lose it. And I really believe that he meant giving ourselves completely away, seeing ourselves as servants to those who are around us. And maybe, just maybe, we may gain a platform and we get to influence a whole lot of people, or maybe not, but maybe it's one of those people that we've influenced, just like Mr. Neely influenced me, and I have been able to share this information with so many of you. So I just wanted to share that with you, and to remember that, you know, great worship leaders are always learning, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, here we go. Third time, final time. All right, we'll use one of these takes. Hopefully, one is good enough.